Hi everyone, please excuse my slightly unkempt appearance and general aura of mess. This is a slightly messy video. I've had one of those days. Everything seems logistically to have gone wrong today, but I did manage to make it to see Companion, which is a film about AI. I'm sorry, that gives away the twist, but the twist comes 10 minutes in and is already featured in the trailer. I'm going to give lots of spoilers in this review because there's really no other way of doing it. So if you haven't seen it, come back and see if you agree with me after you see it. This is a clever film. It suffers from a central problem, which I'm going to talk about in the middle of this, which is that when you make a robot very, very much like a person, then in a sense, they may as well be a person. And then the whole story becomes really just a story about people, and the point of them being robots is a bit lost. It reminds me of the problem that I had when I saw Arrival, which is a film about aliens. And you sort of think, okay, so they've got tentacles, but otherwise, this is just a film about an awkward negotiation with a business delegation from overseas. Like, there's really, it doesn't matter that they're aliens particularly, it's mostly about a language barrier. So, I don't know, I sort of feel that it's very difficult to respect the otherness of the other in films that are centrally about that. The template for this kind of film is Frankenstein, and I don't think anyone's gone better than that, to be honest. In this film, the robot is the central character, and we gradually realise that this young woman who has gone on a pleasant getaway with her slightly annoying boyfriend and a couple of his, or three actually, of his equally quite irritating friends, to stay in the house of a wealthy Russian in the middle of nowhere in somewhere in the US. I lost track of which state it was early on. Sorry. You realise that she is a robot. She's been invented as a sort of programmed empath who is there to love her annoying boyfriend, whose name is Josh, and to sort of look out for Josh and to stick by Josh and to sleep with Josh and to do everything Josh wants. But one of the things it turns out Josh wants her to do is to murder Sergei, the wealthy Russian who owns this place. And that's because Sergei has a lot of money in the safe and is having an affair with a woman Josh is semi-involved with, I think. And she's there too. She's called Kay. And the two of them have plotted to kill him, but they use our protagonist, the AI, to do it. She doesn't realise she's an AI for the first part of it, but it's explained to her after she's committed the murder that she is one and they're now going to switch her off. It's kind of a brilliant setup in a way, but it begs immediate questions, which this kind of film always begs. For example, it turns out that there's a gay couple there as well, and that the real person in that relationship has programmed the other person. The other person is actually also a robot, and at a certain point, the real person in that relationship says to our protagonist, "Don't robo-shame me." When he says, "Why don't you just switch him off if you don't like him? Just switch him off. Don't robo-shame me." And it's a great moment where we see how a culture recognisably like our own would start talking about having robots in your life. But the problem is, if it is that settled that there's a whole language and set of etiquettes around robots, and it's already made it online and become a source of outrage, robo-shaming, then it would also be very difficult to do what the male protagonist Josh does to the robot, which is he overrides all of her settings, makes her more violent than she otherwise would be, and allows her to kill human beings. Now, he does that through some kind of base level hacking, but if robots were settled enough into the culture that there was a whole language around them, then someone would have done that already. I mean, look at the world around you. Someone would have done that within a week. Some stupid 19-year-old who's currently robbing the American public blind would have done that within a week. Sorry to get political, but the film's quite political. So I just didn't buy it as a premise, and it goes to the heart of the problem with this kind of film, which is that in the end, the robot is a metaphor. And that's fine. The robot can be a metaphor. It's a metaphor for our need for love and the balance and constant war between love and control. Absolutely fine. In the second half of the film, that plays out in imaginative ways that all end up with various people getting knives to the throat and bullets and so on. But in the end, I couldn't help thinking, other than the fact that real blood comes out of your head when you're shot, aren't there other ways in which the biological subject is a superior subject to the robotic one for a film like this? Unless that person's status as a robot is going to make a fundamental emotional difference to the film, then why make them a robot at all? In the same way that why did Arrival have to be about what were effectively people but with tentacles? I just wonder, because I think that the otherness of the monster or the AI has to be a more integral part of what they mean. They can't just be a metaphor for what we already know about ourselves. Frankenstein manages it because it becomes a meditation on innocence and the growth into knowledge, and because it's genuinely from the point of view of the inventor who loses control. But in this film, the point of view is inevitably confused because it doesn't have a single narrator, and the ethics don't take on that level of profundity because in the end, the control narrative is the one that the genre encodes for. What really matters is who wins. So the metaphor never gets to develop as deeply as it does in Frankenstein. The balance between plot and feeling is not as subtle. All in all, I quite enjoyed this film. You'll quite enjoy it too. But we have yet to work out how to stage AI in a really interesting way, in my opinion. And we better do it before AI kills us all. Thank you very much.